Hi there, how are you, Pets Plus and Pet Boss Nation community? Good morning. It is June 2019, and I see we've got some people joining live with us. Welcome to Pets+Live Beyond the Pages of the magazine. I'm your show host, Candace with Pet Boss Nation, and we are here today to talk about an article that I wrote in the June issue of Pets Plus. And that's an article about ghosting. And I know that some of you maybe have never even heard of ghosting before, so I'm going to explain that in a second. But this is the issue that's out right now. And I just wanted to also let you know that normally we interview the cool store that's featured in the magazine, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to do that this month in June. But don't worry, because just around the corner, Pets Plus is going to be announcing their new America's Coolest Store winner for the next upcoming year and all the new store lineup. So we're super excited about that. Also, if you haven't heard yet, through the Facebook grapevine, I think it got announced yesterday, Pets Plus is hosting their very first wellness summit in the Chicagoland area. I think it starts September 30th. Go check out their Facebook page or their website. I think they even have a website up now about it, but go check it out. I would love to meet you in person here in Chicago, September 30th this fall for a wellness summit. You'll be able to meet. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people from the magazine that have contributed there, so it'll be a great opportunity to get to know each other and see each other in person, and then also learn about wellness products and solutions for your stores. All right, so, that's right. So what I do at Pet Boss Nation is we are a business coaching and consulting community where we help pet professionals move from their passion for pets to becoming what I like to call profitable pet bosses. We do that through a variety of ways, and one of the ways that we work directly with pet businesses is through our Pet Boss Club. Now, the Pet Boss Club is our monthly group mentoring program. It's only $99 a month, and the value that you get is outstanding, right? We teach you all kinds of tips and tricks to help you master becoming a pet business owner. Now, because you're tuning in live, for those of you watching live, if you stay on through the end, one of you is going to get a free month in the Pet Boss Club. And if you want to learn more about all of the things we're covering, we dive in deep and talk even more about different solutions to help you. So consider joining if you're not already a member, please. I would love to have you in the Pet Boss Club. Now, if you're watching this live and you want to hear this again, we do record all of these, and they're always hosted in the Facebook pages for Pet Boss Nation and Pets Plus, and they also go on to the Pets Plus website. All right. Let's see, here we go. Eleanor's joining in. Great, I'm glad you guys can hear me. All right, so ghosting. I'm gonna put a poll up. I always love to put polls up. These are interactive so that I can hear what your experiences are and what you're going through. And this is an opportunity for you to ask questions directly with me too, or even engage with each other in the chat. So I just put a poll up there, and I just want to know if you've ever been stood up for an interview, either on phone or in person, because that's what ghosting is. All right. Ghosting originally started in the dating world. Okay. So for those of you who have been married for a long time or in a committed relationship and haven't had to date in the last, I don't know, even 10 years, I feel like ghosting is a term in the dating world where it's a practice of like when somebody just ends a relationship with the other person by stopping all contact and communication with them and the partner that they're with. And it's just like, there's no apparent explanation. There's no warning. It's just like complete communication cut off. Well, what's happened now is that has translated into the workplace. Okay. It's no longer left for the dating world, and it's happening all over the world. Actually, it's not just in the United States, and it's not just in the pet industry. It's happening everywhere. And how it happens in the workplace is that essentially people who are applying for the jobs, they likely don't want to have unpleasant conversations with a potential new employer. You know, people don't like conflict. So they just don't want to even have to deal with the situation of having to say that they're not interested or that they're quitting. So I think that they just think if they leave, if they ignore somebody long enough, eventually the person who is wondering what's going on with them and if they're interested in the job or why they didn't come to work will eventually just stop calling them and leave them alone, and they can just like brush it off, right? Because there's like no consequences for them if if they were to ghost you, right? Doesn't bother them. So mostly it's just that applicants don't want to have those challenging conversations. And the way that this has been showing up is that they no-show for an interview, all right? No-show for an interview. They may have a scheduled interview with you. It could even be a phone interview that they're not showing up for. And it can happen even during an interview process after multiple interviews, somebody just does a no-show. It often happens too on first day of employment. So you've already offered a job to somebody and they no-show for their first day. They've already accepted the job offer, but they still no-show. And then the other one is quitting without notice, all right? Quitting without notice, this is usually they just either leave after the day of work. We've put up a post in our Facebook group for Pet Boss Nation, and we've had a lot of situations that our community has shared where the person actually is at work, maybe even like grooming a dog or bathing dogs, and says that they forgot something in their car. Janelle Peters, she actually had said that somebody left they said that they left their water bottle in the car, and they went out to their car to get their water bottle and they never came back in. And so now they've got a running joke that says I'm going to go get my water bottle. So at least they're able to laugh about it, but it can be really frustrating when this happens to you. They quit without notice, either at the end of a shift, they walk out during a shift, and typically it's going to happen within those first 3 weeks of them working with you. A candidate is deciding if it's a good fit during that time frame, and it can be really, really frustrating. Here, let's look back at the poll here. So yeah, 67% of the people watching right now live says that it's happened to them more than once. And we do have about 33% say it's never happened to them. That's good. You lucky 33%. Okay. So what can be like the most frustrating, I know, and I just want to kind of go in. I know that for those of you that have gone through this, it can be super challenging because one, you are paying to post. Usually you're investing some sort of money to post about the job. And maybe you have a tight budget and it gets really challenging to just feel like you're wasting this money on putting ads out there and not getting the results back. It takes time away from your schedule to go through applicants, right? To sift through all of those applications coming in. And it's really hard when you're busy. I know you're wearing a lot of hats, you're juggling a lot of things. That's super frustrating. And when you block out time on your calendar for that interview and then they don't show up. I know that there are a million other things that you could be doing. And then when you hire them and you feel like you now are investing in them coming into your family, into the company, and you're really excited about, you found this great new hire, maybe you even think that they are going to be a rock star, and then they leave and quit. And now you are actually worried about, well, if they just leave and ghost you, you don't even know if they're okay. Oftentimes and I hear this in our community and it's happened to me as well. We worry that maybe they got in a car accident on the way home, or that maybe they're sick or something happened to them, and you want to notify somebody in their life. That happened to me once. I had a girl work for me for a few weeks, and this is years ago, years and years and years, probably even decades ago. And she was great. No signs of her being unhappy. And then she just didn't come into work and she wasn't answering my calls. And I reached out to her family even. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe she's not interested in working here, but I just want to make sure that she didn't come to work. I hope she's okay. And even her parents ghosted me. They didn't communicate with me. So it can be really frustrating because then you get discouraged. And even if they quit and tell you that they don't want to work there anymore, then you may be even wondering why. Like, why do they not want to work for you? And then it can have you question your own company and question you as a leader, or you can question your process. And that's all good things to question, because there are always ways that we can improve. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how we can improve this process for you so that it may not go away. It may not go away, but we can certainly try to minimize the impact to you. There were a couple interesting and scary facts actually out there that I found. So again, I just want you to understand that you are not alone. I mean, obviously in that poll, we've got 66% of the people have had this happen to them. And at my own doggy daycare, we go through this regularly too. You know, we do find rock stars, and I have a lot of great rock stars, but we also get ghosted. And what's interesting is that this report that I found from the Society of Human Resource Management, they say that the average cost per hire for a company, and this is like, you know, all industries, actually costs over $4,000. Okay, that's a big investment. And that's really that when we look at that cost, it's not just that ad cost, but it's the productivity loss or not having the right position filled for your company and growing faster if that position was filled, right? The other thing that was super interesting is that the average time that it takes to fill a position is 42 days. Gosh, really, really long time. And another article I found, so that USA Today released a report that 20 to 50% of job applicants and workers are ghosting and pulling no-shows in some form or fashion. That's 20 to 50% of applicants are doing this to everybody. So why is this happening? Okay, it's happening because our unemployment rate in the United States is at an 18-year low. Okay, so yes, there are things that we can work on for you and that we can implement for your company and your culture, but it really means that because the unemployment rate is so low, there are lots of job opportunities for people, and they have more options, and they can quickly move from one job to the next, or they can just ignore offers that they're getting because they've got another offer coming in. And like I said earlier, there's no negative consequences for them to doing this. So another survey that I found, conducted by a Washington-based firm called Clutch, they say, and this is not a shocker, I just want to make sure that we have this information for you, is that 30% of the people who ghost you during the application process just simply find other work. And then almost another 20% just don't think it's a good match. So 50% of the people that are working for you, it really has nothing to do with you. Okay. All right. I want to share the slides. I've got a few slides now. Yeah, so Keith has made a comment here in the chat. He spent some time working for a major retailer, and he wouldn't even remember new hires' names until they were there for a month because it happened so much. Yes, it's like an epidemic that's happening. And so we're going to get through a lot of stuff today. And a lot of it's in the article, but there's some other basic foundation things I want to talk about that were not in the article that I think will be really helpful. So let me pull up my slides. Okay, all right. All right. So in the article that I wrote in June, I gave 10 tips as to ways that you can prevent ghosting. And these are all like specific tactical strategies. I'm putting them up here right now. We are going to go through them as we have time after I get through some of the really key things that were not in the article, because we're going, beyond the pages. But I want you to look at this real quick just to think if you have any questions about any of this stuff. So first, it's always be on the lookout for potential employees. We're going to dig deeper into that. 2, to put your job perks right in the ad. 3, don't be picky during first glances at the applicants that are coming through. 4, call an applicant. You actually just call them out of the blue. 5, give them a small task to complete. 6 is to give them an easy project. 7 is to host an open interview day. 8, utilize trial periods when hiring. And 9, communicate your vision with new hires. And 10, always continue to collect applicants. Okay, so those are some key strategies that I don't think happen consistently. And I think that can also boost the quality of the people that you're getting and how long they're going to stay with you. Okay. So let's start here first. The big shifts that will happen for you, and there's 4 of them. Okay. The first one is that I want you to build your talent pool all the time. So what this means is that, this is about going and looking for people who you really like to engage with, appreciate their work ethic. You're finding these people in your day-to-day life while you're out experiencing the world, right? Out experiencing other businesses in your neighborhood. This could be while you're volunteering at a dog rescue event. This could be when dog rescue people come to your event. It could be when you're at church and you meet somebody that you like. It could be while you're at your kid's school, meeting new people. You should always be on the lookout for people who would be a good fit for your company. And keep a Rolodex of those people. Not Rolodex is an old term, but keep some sort of a note file of the people who you really would enjoy working with, okay? Because you just never know when the opportunity will open up for you to reach out to them to see if they want to be interested in working for you, okay? The other thing that happens is that most pet businesses that I work with, when we first start working together, they typically stop hiring after they feel like they found somebody. They stop the ad. They don't even look at the inbox of applications coming through anymore, and they just halt everything while they train their new superstar and rock star. And then what happens when you do that, when you cut off the pipeline of potential leads, is that you have to start all over again when that person ghosts you. And that is not productive and not good for you. So we want to keep the talent pool building all the time. Keep fresh ads out there. Keep the inbox coming through. One of the tips that I shared was that you could have people send you a video message. So you could constantly have an ad out there that just says that you're looking for good people. And in the ad, talk about your company culture, have a really, fun, playful, engaging way, description, and maybe some photos or even a video from you to entice quality employees to want to come work for you. And then some of the rules in that ad, like once they send your application, is you could just send them a message right back that says, hey, why don't you take a quick video and tell me your best skill set and how you could help us at our company and your favorite animal or something, right? Give them 24 hours to do that, and they will see if they can meet that deadline. You can just keep a folder in your email inbox of those videos that come in of the people that you really like. And then at least you have this talent pool that you can comb through at your convenience when you need it, okay? This is a really, really smart move, especially if you have multiple people, not multiple people, but if you have a large team, like at our doggy daycare, we have anywhere from 15 to 18 team members all the time. And sometimes we have an exodus of 4 or 5 people just because they're either moving, school schedules change, they find other work. So it's just important to keep that pool coming in all the time. Okay, the next big shift, if you were to improve this, it's creating an inviting and excited and supportive environment. Okay? So what's the reality though that happens? When we are looking for a new hire, we're usually totally stressed out. We are in panic mode because maybe this person has already left the position that we're trying to fill. The person's already left, so we are working a lot of hours. And so the reality is that we, as the business owner, are sometimes in a chaotic state. We're frustrated. We don't have as much time. So what happens is we find the person, we interview them, and they may be picking up on our chaotic energy. They may feel our stress in some way, and it just doesn't seem like a good fit for them, right? Like, see it from their perspective. Maybe they see it as like, this place is a little, has like a strange energy, or maybe the owner seems really stressed out. I don't know if she's always like this. So it's really, really critical that when you are finally in that interview phase with somebody, you are creating an excited and supportive environment in that interview. There was another stat. I don't know where I put it. Got all these stats today. Anyway, there was another stat about how 77% of applicants are actually willing to take a pay cut. They're willing to take a decrease in the pay, not by a lot, but they were willing to take a decrease in the pay if the experience of them going through this interview process was positive and inviting. And so some of that could be, before their interview even starts, or before the day before, or before their first day starts, sending a friendly reminder text or a quick little friendly reminder video from you. I mean, you guys have phones too. You could, start videotaping yourself and send them a quick little message saying, hey, Sarah, I'm really excited to meet you tomorrow for our interview at 1 p.m. See you then. I can't wait for you to meet my office dog. I don't know, something really fun and light. Just showing them that you're excited that you want them to come and interview for you. And again, you need to do these things because it's a competitive work environment for you. I mean, there's a lot of people looking for good candidates. So it's the candidates market at this point. They can pick and choose who they want to come and work for. And then once they come for their first day of work, personally introduce them to all of the team that's there. You can even put a post on social media welcoming them. You could get lunch for everybody so that the rest of your team is happy because they get free lunch and the new person's there. It makes them feel special. Little things like that. I know that costs a little bit of money, but that helps build your company culture and helps make things more exciting and inviting for the people. Another thing that I see when I work with a lot of pet businesses, and this happens in my own company too, is that we need to give clear expectations of not only the role and the job that we need them to do, but clear expectations of what this interview process will look like and what you hope to get from them through the process. So think about it like this. If you were really open and honest with people, and when they applied or you had that interview scheduled, if you just were very clear and you say, I understand that, it could be a challenge for you to have to let me know that you're not interested in this position anymore. But if that happens, please, no hard feelings. Just let me know because then it opens up my calendar and I could interview someone else who might be interested. So you're laying out in advance the clear expectations of how you want them to respect you and your time. And then in the same, flip, you have to do the same for them. And you have to say, it was really great interviewing you. We have a few more applicants we're going to be interviewing. I will let you know by the end of the week if we're going to be moving you on to the next phase, or if we are going to, if we found another candidate. So, and then you can't ghost them either. I bet half the time that our candidates are ghosting us is because, we ghost them when people apply and don't get back to them too, right? That goes both ways. So be clear on the expectations for the interview process. At the beginning of the interview process, you could also lay out what your process looks like for them. Like maybe, hey, we do a phone interview first, and then we have an in-person interview. And at that point, we interview, the team interviews you too, and then we make a decision. So it's a 3-part interview phase. Let's set that expectation up in the beginning. And then they may be very clear with you that they just don't have that time commitment, or they need to find something faster. All right. So just be open and honest with clear expectations. The clear expectations thing has to continue though. It has to continue through once they get onboarded. They need job descriptions. They need the tasks that you want them to do. They need a clear training phase. All right. Everything comes down to very clear expectations. And when I say this still happens in my company, it can be that sometimes if we're frustrated that either management or employees are not on the same page, or they're not doing what we want them to do, then I always look back at myself, and I'm always like, the reason this is not the way that I want it to be is that I have not clearly given the expectations to the team member. Okay. Same thing happens in the interview process. Okay. And then the last thing here is ongoing training and what we call feedback loops. So again, some of the stats that were in the articles that I was looking through, because I really wanted to understand, like, why is this happening? I know how to help improve it and make shifts, but like, why is this happening? And so I already shared that they say that the first 3 weeks, employees decide if they want to stay there or not, or if it's a good fit, they want to invest more time. But then even after that, I find that the ongoing training piece, a lot of people, sometimes they'll, and again, I've been in every situation and every scenario, so no judging here if you've done this before, but you find the person, you hire them, you give them like 1 day training on how to use the point of sale system, how to greet customers. Here's how you answer the phone. Here's how you check voicemail messages. Hey, I got to go work my other store now. So if you have any other questions, just text me. Okay. Believe me, I've been there, and it's not a fun place to be in, and it usually doesn't go very well. So then the next step in all of that is that then maybe, you actually do have a more formal like training plan, and maybe it's a 3 week or 30-day training plan, and you get them trained on all the areas of your business. You think everything is going well, and actually at the 30 days, they're totally overwhelmed and are confused, and they're making mistakes, and you start to get frustrated, and it's creating that unsupportive environment again, because now you're totally irritated that they're just not getting it. Again, when that stuff happens, go back to the clear expectations, come back to your for yourself and say, did I clearly train this person the best way possible? Because the reality is that the ongoing training piece is that it can take almost 6 months to a year for a new employee to feel confident in their role. And you have to remember that they are not us. They did not create this business. This has not been their career for the last decade. So it's really important that you continually check in them about the ongoing training. The feedback loop part is that at the beginning of your interview, if you were to encourage and tell them, hey, we like to just check in and do like a little, what we call like a feedback loop. I'm going to give you some feedback on how things are going. I'd love to hear how we can help train you more when that feedback comes in, or what questions you might have about the feedback I'm going to give you. And I also would like to hear how we're doing for you so that we can improve our company culture and how our employees feel working for us. And we could also improve the training process. So it's a feedback loop for both of you, and you go through this process like at different points during that first 6 months. It's a really good idea. It's good to have feedback loops all the time with your team members. I always like to ask things like, here's what I think is going really well. Here's what is really going on really well. Here's what I really love that you do. I really would like to see a shift in this direction. How can we train, or what do we need to train you on to see that shift happen? Or what kind of training would you like to see that shift happen? And then just that way, we're always looking at, here's what you do well, here's what we need to improve. So I know that it might seem like these 4 things, I'll go back through them. These 4 things, how do they help with the ghosting situation? It's really about connecting with people on a personal level, getting their buy-in in a sense of why they should come and work for your company. And the first piece to this about building this talent pool is that you are actively going out and you're actively building relationships with people. That way, when you need, it's a more proactive way to have a pool of that you can access. It's like your little database of potential candidates. And then the next one is about creating that inviting and excited, supportive environment. That's again about connecting with them, connecting with these potential candidates to get them excited to come work at your company. Clear expectations. Clear expectations remove confusion. So again, clear expectations and what this interview process is going to be like. Hey, let's just respect each other on both levels. And then the ongoing training and the feedback loops. Again, this is communication and connecting with them to help them become better. Okay? All right, so I really wanted to get through those key things because I did not talk about that in the article, and I think they're all very, very important to the success of your company. Now, they're not going to happen overnight, but I'd love to hear if any of you have questions. Please put them in the chat. And now we're going to spend the rest of the time we have together today. I'm going to run through some of the points that were in the article. All right, tip number 1. Always be on the lookout for new employees. All right, we already shared that. I talked a little bit about that. I want to tell you a story though. I had our employee holiday get together at one of those places that were the axe throwing place. This was called Bad Axe. You throw axes at Target. My team members wanted to do it. I thought it was totally insane, but it actually was a lot of fun. And so while we were there, we got a hostess that helped us with the bad axe throwing and training us. And she was just so positive and happy. And she really provided a really great experience for us. And when I was going to pay at the end, I said to her, "You're really great at your job. You seem really happy here. Thank you for the good service you gave us." That's all I said. And then she opened it up with, like, she was genuinely thankful that I expressed that to her. And she's like, "Thank you so much. You know, I just wish that our management here, shared that same feeling with us, but they've kind of shifted their goals, and I don't feel very supported. And I really actually am looking for somewhere else to work." So I hadn't even offered her a job. I didn't even say I was hiring, but somebody that I engaged with, that I was like, "Hey, I'm going to just put this little seed in her mind that I think that she's fabulous, and we'll see where it goes." And then in return, she ended up telling me that she was looking for potentially, would be open to shifting companies. So then I got her information and I said, "All right, great. Well, we're not hiring right now, but I would love to keep your information and I can reach out to you when something opens up." Okay, so that is keeping your pool of candidates open. I was also at a street festival once, and there was someone that was working a demo booth for, I don't think it was a cell phone company, but it was some sort of an app for cell phones. I think it had to do with restaurants or something. And she was just fabulous. So on it. And I just said, "Hey, do you do this full time, or is this a part-time gig for you?" And it was a full-time job for her. And I said, "Okay, well, if you ever are looking to leave, here's my business card." And I just gave her my business card. I never did hear from her, but you always want to be looking for good people. Tip number 2, put your job perks right in the ad. All right. So oftentimes, you'll see, you don't want to make it too lengthy of a job posting, but I think that the very beginning needs to be like, what's the draw of why they should come work for you? It could be that you give, there was a post in our Facebook group about employee discounts and what everyone does for employee discounts. And a lot of people give the products to their retail associates and other team members at cost, which is awesome. I totally agree that you should do that because you want your employees to be able to demo or try their products on their own pets, and then that will make them better salespeople for that product. So it totally makes sense to do that. But that might be something that would be a huge draw for somebody to want to apply at your company over a place that doesn't have pet supplies because they love their pets and they love spending money on their pets. So that would be the header to that, is that perk, is that like, do you love spending, do you love buying stuff for your pets? Well, come work for us and you can get it at cost, right? I mean, just put it out there and see what happens. You're going to attract, yes, people who like a deal, but isn't that the point? Is you want to get those numbers in of people who are interested in the beginning, right? You want to cast your net really wide to get people to come in, and then you can decide as you're going through the process. And remember, 50% are going to ghost you. So you need your numbers up, but be real clear in your schedule or in your job posting what the perks are. Do you have health insurance? Do you have a flexible schedule? Do you have bonus family discounts? Do you have a bonus program? Do you have furthering education? Now, one of the clients that we work with, she does a $250 stipend every year that could go towards them furthering their education, whether that's paying for a paid webinar or going to a local class or some sort of a workshop that's happening. So there's lots of perks that you can include, and just put that out there up front. Because again, you have to be competitive with other jobs that are on the market that they could be applying for. All right, tip number 3, don't be picky during first glances at the applicants. And what I mean here is that, and I know from my own experience, we get a lot of applicants that come through, like a lot of applications will come through and they don't have, we're always looking for people who have some sort of pet experience. But just because it's not on their resume doesn't mean they don't have it. And what I really want to do at this point in the initial outreach, because the process that we recommend is that we want to encourage those quick little videos sent into us, or we want to do a phone interview first. And there are things that we can pick up on in that phone interview, or the quick little in-person meet and greet, or the quick little video that can show to me if this is a person with integrity, if this is a friendly person, would they offer great customer service? Do they have an outgoing personality? Are they more introverted? All of those attributes that people have, they're all good, but it just depends on the role that you're fulfilling. And that's a whole nother conversation about how to find the right people for your roles. But I just don't want you to be so picky right when the applications come through. Figure out a way that you can quickly shoot off a response to them that says, thank you for your application. I would love to find out, and this goes into one of the other points we're going to talk about, but that video. Please just send me a quick little video letting me know what your favorite pet is and your strongest skill set to help us at the company. Just grab your phone, text or email the video, or send it to us on Facebook, and you need to turn it in within 24 hours. That doesn't really hurt you at all. Is to just send that email out, and then it will get you some responses back in. And that, to me, I would much rather have an applicant who can follow directions and who's excited to come and work at our company, right? So don't be so picky in the beginning, because sometimes what that does is when we get too picky, it delays the whole process for us. We're waiting for that perfect application. We're waiting for the person who has pet store experience. We're waiting for the person who has retail experience. And skills can be trained, but you can't train somebody to, come to work on time. You can't train somebody to have pride in their work. I mean, I guess you can through some mindset stuff, but it'd be great if you could really find the best fit for your personality of your company and the culture, and then train skills. All right, call the applicant. This is a fun one to do. I don't do a lot of our interviewing anymore for Dogaholics because the team handles that. But I always loved when an application came through. If I saw something that I liked, I just called them. And I would just say, hi, this is Candace from Dogaholics. How are you? And it's an awesome strategy, because you can then tell if people are just spamming in a sense and just applying at a ton of jobs. and don't even recall what company you have, right? So what I love about calling them out of the blue, it's not an email that tells them that they applied for a position at this company, and then they have time in that email to look and see what company that is. On the phone, you call them instantly. And then when they go, I'm sorry, where are you calling from? I'll say Dogaholics. And they're going, oh, and I'll say, do you know what we do or what our company offers? And they'll go, I applied at a lot of places. I'm really not sure. What do you do? And then at that point, I'm like, okay, it was really nice talking with you. Thanks for your applying. You don't have to stop it right there, but you could then at least that quick conversation kind of can tell you a lot about what's going on with that potential hire. And then in a really good situation is that they actually are super excited and they're like, oh, I'm so glad you called. I can't believe it. Yeah, I really love your doggy daycare. I live in the neighborhood and I have been wanting to work there for a while, but the timing wasn't right. And now I'd love to come in for an interview. So you just never know what's going to happen when you pick up the phone and actually call them. Tip number 5 from the article is to give them a small task to complete. All right, so this task to complete can range from helping research a product and write a blog post for you. This could be standing in your store and just saying hello and greeting customers. The project that you give them or the task should relate to the job that they're applying for. And it should help you identify some of the skills that are needed for that job without having to give them a lot of training, okay? So there are a variety of ideas here. If you have questions about that, you can always put them in the comments, but I gave some in the article too. But really, this really just pertains to the position that you're filling, and find something super easy that they could do. Okay, these are very similar to me, I guess. This one, the tip 5 was probably the video one about the task before the interview. And then tip number 6 was give them an easy project. So this is in the interview process. So step 5 was during the interview process, give them something easy to do like that video. Step number 6, giving them an easy project. This is once you've gone through that phone interview phase or even your in-person interview phase, and now you are with them at the store and you want to give them a little easy project for about an hour. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to them that you want them to do this, because you've given your clear expectations to them at the beginning and you've told them that you've got this 3-step interview process. And part of it is just to see if they're a good fit for the company and then if you're a good fit for them. Tip number 7 is to host an open interview day. I have not done this personally, but I have friends in the industry who do this all the time. And it's usually when they are looking to fill a lot of positions or if they have to open a new store. And what I love about this is that you kind of make a big deal about it. You make a big event out of it. You tell a lot of places in town, you put it all over social media, you get your local chambers of commerce to talk about it, that you're hosting this big interview day, open interview day. Put a table up if it's nice outside, put a table outside, get some balloons, or do that inside your store, have applications ready. And then people that are walking through, whether they're customers of yours or they saw that you're having an open interview day right there, they fill out their application and then they actually sit and you talk with them. And it's kind of like, think of it, almost go back to the dating situation, but it's almost like speed dating, right? Where you're going to have a set group of questions that you want to help you quickly identify if this person should move on to the next point of your interview process, okay? So think about these quick open interview days as almost like your phone interview, but you're going to meet in person. So they don't have to take a lot of time, but you have dedicated that you and maybe another team member are going to be at the shop or wherever your business is for a few hours and a window of time, and people can just come as they're available. And you may just meet people who are, again, walking through your store or walking by who didn't even know that you were hiring, and you might find some new people. There's a lot that you can tell by just shaking someone's hand, looking at them in the eye, and just having a conversation with them. There's enough that you'll learn that it will help you determine if you want to move them into an actual interview. Tip number 8 is to utilize trial periods when hiring. We do this a lot at Dogaholics. The trial period could be, after they've had their phone interview, after they've done their in-person, and then maybe even after they've had their team interview. Now you're going to say to them, all right, we really want you to join the team, but we'd like to do a 1-week trial period. We will pay you for the time that you're here, and you're going to go start getting trained, and you're going to go through things, but it'll just be a good way for us to see if it's a good fit. When you're in these trial periods, it's great at the end of every shift to just check in with the candidates, see how they're doing, how they're feeling about the job. You can check in with your other coworkers and team members and see how they feel about the candidate. And then at the end of every day, you could even decide, okay, we'll let you know at the end of every day if we want you to come back the next day. Or you could, at the end of the day, let them know that you're not interested in them joining your team and you wish them the best. This trial period gets you to know them a little bit better before you make a big leap into their further training. A big question that comes up with this oftentimes is, do we pay them for this? And yes, you should absolutely pay them for this. You can come up with a flat daily rate or an hourly rate that you want to give them. And at least around here in Illinois, I think it is across the country, you can pay someone up to $600 in cash without having to have them fill out any paperwork. So during this phase, it's really good to just keep these as like cash paid trial periods and to see how well they integrate and fit with your company. All right. Tip number 9, communicate your vision with your new hires. So this should happen towards the beginning of the interview process. You can share your goals for the business, like what your plans are to do, maybe they're not immediate plans. Maybe they're 5-year, 10-year plans, but that, you want to have multiple locations or you want to expand into these services. Maybe it's that you just you're on a mission to improve the health of all of the neighborhood's dogs and get them on better food. And express to them why you have that vision and tell stories about how you got started and what kind of impact that made for you in your personal journey. And then talk to them about if they've ever had any issues or experiences with some, whatever it is that your vision is in line with. Because again, you want to connect with them. You want to communicate your goals for that particular employee. You're not promising anything, but you're saying to them, listen, we're looking for a solid team member who's going to be able to show up every day on time and give our customers the best customer service possible. Or maybe there are growth opportunities for them there. Like maybe you see that the role could grow into store manager. You could share what it takes to be successful in that role for them. And then during this vision part, just allow them to ask questions too about your own business journey and your own career. So this does take a little longer if you add this element to the interview process. But I know that with millennials, they really want to be connecting with the company that they are going to work for. They want to add value. They want to give their time and their dollars to things that they believe in. And they need to believe in you. So what this piece of the puzzle will do for you is that when you're in that, from the very beginning of this training, when I said that we need to create an inviting environment, so when we're all stressed out and we're pissed off that half the people didn't show for their interviews, and we're pissed off about the fact that we have a million things on our to-do list. And when you, though, have a conversation with someone about what your vision is and why you've started and what you really want for your company, it helps bring you back in and ground you, and you will connect again with that potential candidate. And the last tip here is to always continue to collect applications. All right, so that goes back to the very first thing we talked about building your talent pool. You always want to have an ad up or even something on your website or a monthly Facebook post that says we're looking for good people. And then you can even list out all the types of jobs that exist to help you at your company, and then have them submit applications and go through that first process of having them send you a quick little video or photo of their pet or something, something. And even if you don't want to have it up all the time, maybe you're a really small company and you don't want to have it up all the time, you should definitely still have your job application posting up even a few weeks after you've actually hired for that position. Because if someone's going to decide it's not a good fit and they're going to ghost you, it's probably going to happen early on in those first 3 weeks. So just keep the pool of applicants coming in. Okay, so now I want you guys to take some action. I want you to, I've always got homework for you as a business consultant. I like to encourage you to take at least one of the ideas that you can implement immediately. And feel free to email us at hello@petbossnation.com to let us know how it's working for you. And so if you want to think about these big shifts, building your talent pool all the time, or creating an inviting, excited, supportive culture, if you're going to work on clear expectations, or ongoing training and feedback loops. I would love to, for those of you who are watching live, if you want to share with me, you can even just put in the comments number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. I would love to hear which one you think you need to work on the most that could make the biggest impact, stop this ghosting phenomenon. I know for myself with Dogaholics, it's probably the ongoing training and the feedback loops. It's hard to find time to do that. It is really hard to find time to do that. Let's go back to the chat and see. Marion, number 2, Eleanor, number 2. Yeah, creating an inviting and supportive culture. Yes, that can be a super big challenge because, again, we're always so busy. We're so busy and we get stressed out. And it's important to remember that there's more to life than just work. There's more to life than just work. And we can remember to be human again with the people that are applying for our jobs, or for our company, applying for jobs with our company, and how we can connect with them to really build and bridge those relationships. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for this training for our Pets+Live Beyond the Pages of the magazine here. I need to stop sharing my slides. Oh, well, now, actually, it's time for us to pick our winner of our free Pet Boss Club membership. Let's see here. I don't have a way to, because I don't have a team member with me today. So if you are watching, here's what we're going to have to do, because I can't see who's watching right now. If you're watching live and you want a free month to the Pet Boss Club, then I'd like you to put your name in the chat, and just not, I can see your name. Put in the chat that you want a free membership. Say, just type me. I want one free. I want one a membership to the Pet Boss Club, and we will pick someone from the people who are watching, because I can't tell right now. This is really, really high tech here, people. And if you still want a membership to the Pet Boss Club and you don't have a, oh, I love it, they're coming in now. If you don't have a membership, we've put up a link, and you should be seeing a link right now to be able to see the club, because if you got any value out of what I talked about today, you get more value like that in the club. There's a membership portal that is full of all kinds of behavioral interview questions. We have video trainings on how to interview people. And it's not just about HR and interviewing. We really, really help you master becoming a pet business owner. And I would love to have you join the Pet Boss Club. All right. So I'm going to go with Marion, because Marion, you were the very first person who said me that I can see. So Marion, welcome to the Pet Boss Club. You get your free month. We will be following up with you very shortly on how to access that, probably later today. And see, more are coming through now too. Wendy and Michael, we'd love to have you there too. So please join us. Just follow that link or go to petbossclub.com. And I thank you all so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions ever about the topics that I write for Pets Plus, please feel free to send us an email to hello@PetBossNation, or just comment on this video or shoot us a private message on Facebook. And for those of you who can come to Chicago in the fall, the Pets Plus Wellness Expo was just announced. It is September 30th, I think, through October 2nd in the Chicagoland area in Schaumburg, I think. So check out all of check out all the cool details that are going to be unveiled very soon for the Pets Plus Wellness Summit. All right, thanks guys. Have a wonderful day, and keep leading your packs. All right, bye, Pet Bosses.